Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It's Saturday, and for the first time in what feels like a long time, I can say match day. Bournemouth versus Arsenal. The return of the Premier League is just a few hours to go. As you can probably tell by the light, it is very dark. I'm recording this very early. Typical Saturday routine for me. Take the kids to football very soon. And then all eyes on the Premier League. I'm not going to be at the game today, so you're not going to get your usual stuff from me. One of my very best mates is up in sticks and moving to sunny Australia for work with his family. So today is his big send-off drink. So I'm going to be in a pub with a pint watching the Arsenal match for the first time in a while doing that. Actually quite looking forward to it. So it should be a laugh. But I will probably very hungover try and do a video tomorrow reacting to what will hopefully be a very good Arsenal win. So we're going to talk about that in today's show, go over my predicted 11 for the game, look at what Mikel's been saying ahead of the match, look at what some of you have been saying ahead of the match as well. And look, Mikel is expecting a very tough game against a Bournemouth team. Results-wise, probably not satisfied with this starts of the season, but performance-wise, they've certainly done all right. Mikel says they are very well coached, they are super intense, really competitive, and a clear idea as to how they want to do it. They should have had different results, in my opinion, especially against the big teams away from home. They're going to be a big challenge and will have to be at our best. And no doubt about that, they will. Arsenal had a couple of comfortable wins at Bournemouth in the last couple of seasons. What was it, 4-0 last year? The Kai Havertz penalty game, Saliba game the year before that when they won 3-0, I think it was. I was there for that one on the South Coast. I can't imagine it's going to be as comfortable today, but hopefully it will. That'll be very nice, wouldn't it, if it is going to be as comfortable. But Arsenal are going to have to play well, no doubt about it. They've kind of done all right in the last couple of games, but have left themselves a bit of mountain to climb in both. When you look at the Southampton and the Leicester results, got the wins, which is the most important thing, but a little bit in those performances that you don't really want to see too often. Certainly defensively, Arsenal got to improve that. We know they're better away from home for whatever reason, and they are at home. Their record away from home in the Premier League is unbelievable when it comes to defensive. Keeping goals out at their end. They're going to need to do that today, and they're going to have to play very well. Mikel's been speaking about Gabriel Jesus. I thought this was really interesting from Mikel about Jesus, who we know is struggling for form, struggling for confidence a little bit. Mikel spoke about him in yesterday's press conference in the embargoed section, so you might not have seen these quotes yet. They went out at 10:30 last night, and he was asked about Gabriel Jesus. He said, look, he came on in great shape. This is for the summer, he means. He came in great shape, probably the best condition he's been with us. He was flying in pre-season, and unfortunately got that injury straight away that affected him for a few weeks. He put, again, a lot of hard work to come back, and now he needs to get the rhythm. He's playing a few games. He started 2 in a row versus Atalanta and Bolton. He's come on against Southampton, also started against Leicester, obviously. So, yeah, he's there. Now he needs to earn the right to play more. He's got our full support. He's a player that can play in various positions, and he's a really important player for us. Sorry, I just said he started against Leicester. He didn't, did he? It was a Southampton game he started. Bit of a message there, I think, from Arteta to Jesus, isn't it? Saying he needs to earn the right to play more. And that's, look, he's given him an opportunity. He's given him a couple of opportunities. Like he said, Atalanta, Southampton, Bolton, all started. Did he make the most of those opportunities? Probably not. And I think that's the message that Mikel's saying to Gabriel Jesus there is, look, you are a big player for us. And he is 100%. I've said it time and time again. You know, Arsenal need Gabriel Jesus this season. If they're going to go on and achieve what they want to achieve, they need Jesus to perform. They need him to contribute. So it's a really big thing for them to get him firing again. I thought that came through in these quotes from Arteta, but it was very much a, look, you have to take your opportunities when you get them. When I give you a start, you have to take them. Probably not quite done that yet this season. In fact, no, probably about that. He hasn't done that yet this season, but he needs to. And I'm sure he will get minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts on Tuesday night against Shakhtar in the Champions League. He will get minutes, but he's got to take advantage of them. So, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting from Mikel on Jesus. Right, so this is my predicted 11 that I'm going for today's game. I'm sticking with that kind of 4-4-2, 4-3-3 formation that we're seeing at the moment in the absence of Martin Odegaard. So Trossard and Havertz, when Arsenal were in possession, basically playing as a front two, sort of floating around when out of possession, dropping back, making it a 4-3-3 type formation. So I'm going Raya in goal. I think that I'm presuming Timber is fit here. So I've gone with Timber, presuming he's fit. I don't know if he is yet or not, and I don't know if Ben White is or not. So that's just guesswork. But if they're fit, I think Mikel's going to go for Timber. So it's Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Rice and Partey as the midfield two again. Then I think Saka is going to be past fit to play. I reckon he'll play on the right. I think Sterling probably. I just wonder if they're going to decide it's too much of a risk for Martinelli with whatever this calf injury is that he's come back from Brazil struggling with. I wonder if it's just too soon. The fact he's only just arrived back, and they might just think, you know what, we're not going to take any risk. We've got Liverpool coming up, so we'll play Sterling. So I've gone with Sterling on the left, and then, as I said, continuing the Trossard Havertz sort of front line. There are other question marks. You know, Mourinho, we've spoken about him at length on this channel in the last couple of days. Could this be his first start for Arsenal? Obviously, it could. I've erred on the side of just sticking with what has gone on before the international break, but wouldn't surprise me if Mourinho is in that side. But if he is, then there'll certainly be one of those players not involved. I'm not sure who, but we've been talking about the Partey Mourinho stuff, and people have absolutely, as usual, taken the wrong thing here. Like Nazil says, how can Charles say Partey and Mourinho won't play in the same team? Partey is definitely smoother in six than Rice. So we could definitely rest Rice and play Mourinho. Rice is not indispensable. He hasn't started well. We've challenged for the title without Rice, and we're actually smoother. Rice will compete and rotate with Mourinho for the left eight. People need to accept it. Rice will be crucial in the second half of the season if he's fresh. Right now, he looks jaded. Kenny says, I know Charles will overlook my comment, but Declan Rice is actually the one to come off. The guy's been so poor, plus he is really poor at six since he came. Stifles our game play. I absolutely don't agree with that. I think there's lots of revisionism, is that the right word, of it. You know, when Rice was playing at six for the majority of last season, or majority of the first half of last season, Arsenal played very well and won lots of games with him playing in that role. And he came to Arsenal as a six. Mikel sees him as a six. And look, I'm not saying that he should definitely be that six. I'm just saying that I'm predicting that when everyone's fit, that's what Mikel's going to go for. So it's not me saying that's exactly what I would do. I'm saying that when everyone's fit, I think that's what Mikel will go for. As long as Mourinho gets up to speed and starts playing very, very well and gives Arteta a decision to make, if he does that, then I think that decision that he will make will be Partey, Mourinho, Odegaard. Not in every game, but in the big games, I think that's what he'll go for. Again, that's not my opinion in terms of what I would do. That's what I'm just predicting Mikel will go for. Interesting there from the Cells and how Charles say Partey and Mourinho won't play in the same team. I'm not saying they won't at all. I think there's plenty of opportunities when they will, but Rice won't be involved. That would be a game when you'd rest Rice, you'd have Partey as a six, and you have Mourinho still playing in the left eight role alongside Odegaard, something like that. So obviously they will play in the same team, but I'm just saying when everyone's fit and available, I don't really see them playing in the same team just because I think Mikel's going to go for Declan Rice. So that's what I'm trying to explain in it. Hopefully that becomes a little bit clearer. Obviously, today's game is this sort of anniversary almost. If Kai Havertz's first Arsenal goal, it came a year ago, about a year and a week ago, a year and 2 weeks ago, but it was at Bournemouth. So it's brought back a lot of memories. Mikel was asked about that and Havertz and the goal, and he said, look, I think it was a turning point. The players took ownership, which is the best thing. They decided to do something for the player. Straight after that, it made him feel special. It made him feel respected and admired. Everyone was willing and wishing the best for him. He delivered that day. The connection towards the supporters went to a different level as well, and everything started to click. Since then, the story is unbelievable. His involvement in every match, what he produces to help us win matches is incredible, very positive. Obviously, he was asked if he's the way Havertz has sort of responded and battled his way into being the player he is after that difficult start. Was a bit of a, was he a bit of a role model, that sort of thing? He said, absolutely. I think he's an amazing role model. The way he behaves every day, the way he's a person, the way he lives his life, how much he loves it to play football, to compete. Again, part of that is a level to handle and manage difficult situations. I think he's an amazing example of that. And he is, absolutely is an amazing example of that. That's kind of why I've mentioned him as in the same breath as Gabriel Jesus before and Gabriel Martinelli. And these sort of players, when they're struggling, it doesn't take much for that switch just to click, and suddenly they go off on a different path. And that's what I'm hoping will happen at some point with Jesus if he stays fit this season. And what Havertz did last year and the player he is now to the player he was in those first few months, it's been a remarkable transformation. He's one of the first players on the team sheet now for this Arsenal team. I can't imagine this Arsenal team without Kai Havertz playing in it. And that's just a mad statement considering where he was a year ago in the lack of confidence he was playing with when he first arrived at Arsenal. Fingers crossed he can continue that goal record today. Arsenal is certainly going to need him. I'm fully expecting he's going to start in that game. Obviously, there has been the doubt because of the international break. But look, as I've said, reported during the international break, he'll be fine. Thomas Partey will be fine. So he got late decisions to make on the likes of Zinchenko, Ben White, Jurriën Timber, those sort of players as well. But yeah, hopefully Kai Havertz can return and do it once again on the South Coast a little bit later on today. Just quickly on Jack Wilshere, obviously spoke about him yesterday, showed the fact that these talks are ongoing with Norwich. Looks like he's probably going to make the move there to become first team first team coach at Carrow Road. Mikel was asked about him yesterday. He said he's been great. Obviously, everyone knows about his career, about his character, and he's a really special personality. His attachment to the football club, he's unique. He has this aura, charisma, the way he connects to the club and to the people. Since he's come here, he's had a real impact, been a real inspiration for the kids because of his history with the club and the manner that he did it. What comes next is his decision and the club's as well. As I said, it's looking like that is a decision that's going to lead him going to Norwich, but that deal hasn't been done yet. Lots of people have been talking about Jack, like Guna72 here says the club will definitely miss Jack. It seems he's a huge character around the place and he's much loved, highly regarded. I wish him the best and hope he comes back to the Arsenal in the future for a more involved role. Yeah, everyone's going to miss Jack, no doubt about it. He is a huge character around the club. His return's been great. I think it was much needed. It's certainly much needed for him. I think it's really, really helped him and put him on the right path again because he was having some really difficult times. And hopefully, we've been, English coaches, we've been talking about them a lot this week because of the Thomas Tuchel appointment and the fact that FA couldn't find an Englishman to appoint. This is why we need to encourage these young English coaches like Jack, who's working his way up to his way for pro license right now. Got to encourage them making these steps, making these moves, continuing this progression, take the step up to Norwich. Try, at some point, this might lead to a head coach's role somewhere else. Just got to try these different things. And so, as much of a shame it is that he's going to be leaving Arsenal and that connection with Arsenal, it's great for his career. Hopefully it will, set him on the right path. And like Guna72 says, we'll see him back at Arsenal one day in a very more involved role. Neil here says, with the Tomiyasu situation, I think Arsenal had so many players like him regarding injuries. Diaby, Wilshere, Tierney, Partey, Smith Rowe, lesser extent RVP. It kind of makes you have less empathy for a player, which is a shame, as players are just human beings and some can play many games injury-free like Saka, Rice and Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, it's right, and I get it, and I get the frustration. I feel it as well. Every time you get a player back and then they get injured again, you just it's really hard to keep patience with it. But unfortunately, it is what it is for Tomiyasu, and he's such an important player, such a key player, key part of this squad. That while he's here, and he might end up going because of it, and Mikel might end up losing patience because of it. Arsenal might do. Whether a club signs him on the back of this injury record he's had at Arsenal remains to be seen, obviously. But while he's here, he's an Arsenal player, and he's still a really important player and a really popular player as well, hugely popular. And you do, I think, have to show empathy for their situation because they're human beings at the end of the day. And these injuries like Tierney as well, players like that, as much as you see the reaction of, get rid every time he gets an injury, you've got to think, these players are going through, hell. They want to be out playing. They don't want to be sitting on the touchline. They want to be playing. It's not their fault their body keeps breaking down. And, fingers crossed Tomiyasu can get fit very, very quickly and get back to helping the team, because when he's fit, he's a huge player for Arsenal. There's one here from Sam. He says, I've never understood the backlash Ben has received, Ben White this is, about those comments about hating football. I remember Steven Gerrard saying almost exactly the same thing as well. He said his home has always been his football-free zone. He doesn't watch any football, and when he's home, that's family time. People lauded him for that. They were surprised, but people thought it was great. I think with Ben White as well, it's his sort of the way he comes across, his personality, his character. If you don't know him, I think he rubs people up the wrong way. Obviously, rival football fans don't like him as well because of the whole dark arts thing that he does and the way he winds everyone up. Obviously, if you're not an Arsenal fan, that is going to wind you up. If you're an Arsenal fan, you absolutely love him like we all do. I think that probably comes into it as well with how he's perceived, the England thing as well. So there's all those things sort of married together has brought this almost personality assassination almost from rival fans, from some media as well when it comes to Ben White. And I reckon that is why so many people have jumped on those comments. Because like you, I think they're perfectly acceptable. I don't see there's any issue in coming home from spending all day playing football, watching football, analysing football, to then come home and just want to switch off and be with your family, be with your pets, take your dog for a walk, watch a film, watch Netflix, just do anything but watch football. Because, the next morning at 8 a.m, you're going to be driving into training and doing it all over again, really high intensely for the next 10 hours. So what I don't get why there's an issue with it. I just don't understand it. But as that's my answer to it, Sam. I think it's all the different things probably have sort of come together, and people have just taken this opinion on Ben White, seen what he said, and decided to have a go for it. But frankly, it doesn't matter, does it? Because we all love Ben White, and that's the most important thing. That's it from me today, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. As always, enjoy the game later. If you're going, if you're watching anywhere around the world, have a good one. Enjoy it. Fingers crossed for 3 points. I'll be back in the morning to do it all over again, reacting to the game, giving my thoughts on it. You want to get involved in that show, you know what to do. After full time, come back to this video because there's not going to be a ratings video later on today. So come back to this video. Give me your thoughts on the game, who impressed, who didn't, and I'll pull some of them together and get included in tomorrow's reaction show. Have a good one, everyone. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye-bye.